Resumes are often a hotly debated topic. Two common points of contention are: one, should a resume be more than one page? And two, should a bullet point be longer than one line? I've reviewed thousands of resumes and either hired or participated in hiring dozens of candidates. The strongest candidates keep their resume to one page in length and their bullet points to one line. Why? Because it forces you to get to the point quickly and showcase your value, thus demonstrating your ability to be a clear communicator. These are things that prospective employers want in a candidate. If you do this, then you'll set your resume above your peers. Think about it. If everyone else has an average or below average resume, then following a few simple principles will, by definition, make your resume above average. This is the difference between a recruiter passing by your resume or not. I might not approach resume reviews in a corporate setting as strictly as I did in investment banking, but I have a zero tolerance policy for misspelled words, inconsistent punctuation, or misaligned text. These will land your resume in the trash. Your resume is your personal brand, so spend the time landing your first impression with as much impact as possible. The framework for what makes a great resume is not complicated. However, writing resumes is hard, but it's well worth the time investment. I can still scan a resume in a split second and tell you if it's exceptional or not. This preview course mirrors standards expected in investment banking. I'll touch on a few specific areas: formatting, structure, and accomplishments. First and foremost, you need to know a few simple formatting options in Word to build your resume. My formal course touches on a few other key formatting features in Word. I'll quickly cover tab stops and paragraph spacing. First, tab stops. Learning how to use the ruler and tab stops is not hard, and you'll wonder why you never learned how to do this before. Are you one of those individuals who uses spaces to right-align your text? If so, then today's the last time you do that. Go to the View tab, Show Group, Ruler command. This will add the ruler to the top of the page. Your default settings will add the margins, page orientation, and paper size. In the United States, this is 8.5 by 11 inches and 1-inch margins all around. Don't be afraid to adjust your margins though. Just don't remove all the white space. The default tab stop is set to left. Left click until you find the right tab stop. Now place your cursor on the ruler and left click once. Drag the tab stop to the right margin. Now press the tab key. Look at that. Your text is perfectly aligned to the right side of the page, regardless of the length of the line. Second, paragraph spacing. You can adjust paragraph spacing in 3 locations: the line before the paragraph, the line after the paragraph, and the lines within the paragraph. If you have a lot of content to fit on one page, then tighten the spacing to help stay within that restriction. If you tighten the spacing though, double check that you don't cut off low-hanging letters, such as the letter G. Your resume should follow a simple structure: contact information, experience, education, and other. If you're a full-time student, then swap experience and education so that education's on the top. Please avoid putting a summary or skills section at the top. Your resume will address these skills anyway, so there's no need to waste that valuable space. Consider using a header and border to help divide the sections of your resume. This is a simple example of showing work experience, education, and other personal information. Information will flow chronologically from the top to the bottom of the page because recent experience is generally more relevant, and most experience follows a path of progression, so your increased responsibility will naturally show at the top. When highlighting a new opportunity, such as an employer or university, use the name followed by the location and then the dates that you were there. Unless you work for some of the largest, most well-known brands, people won't know anything about the company for which you work. For example, I worked for a company called Melaleuca. People have a hard enough time pronouncing the name, let alone knowing what the company does. So you may want to consider using a short description of the company and include its size as part of the description to help the reader gain context. Applying a bold format to the company and institution names will also make it easy to visually track where these opportunities begin. Additionally, add some spacing before those names. Include the role title and department function for each role, such as Senior Manager Finance. Italics is a useful format for roles. Each bullet accomplishment underneath the role should be a single line. Depending on how much experience you have, you may need to collapse or condense lines from older experiences, such as in the education section of my resume. As I gained more experience, I needed more room on my resume, so I deleted those lines altogether. You can put other notable and relevant details at the bottom of your resume, such as hobbies, languages, and relevant software that's applicable to the role. Don't be afraid to use your resume to showcase your skills and take credit for your accomplishments. Do this by constructing compelling bullet points underneath your experiences. I repeat what I said before. Keep a bullet point to a single line description because this will force you to get to the point quickly and showcase your value. If you absolutely need 2 lines, then fill the 2 lines as much as possible. Don't leave text hanging out alone on the second line. Let's review a couple helpful tips in constructing your accomplishments. Say what you did and quantify what you did. Building a financial model is something any finance professional can do, but building a financial model that improved revenue forecast accuracy by 15% is a big deal. It's okay to have descriptions without quantifiable results, but these should be more rare than common. Furthermore, relative sizing is helpful when framing these opportunities. Managing $1 million business unit isn't a helpful description and leaves the reader wondering if it's 1 million out of 10 million or 1 million out of 1 billion. Similarly, advising your manager on financial performance is different than advising the chief financial officer on financial performance. These data anchors will help the recruiter gauge whether your experience matches the role. This brings us to the next point. Speak to the role. The job description will tell you what is needed for the role, so craft your accomplishments to address the job description. For example, if it's a heavy analytics-based role, then use accomplishments that speak to your ability to analyze data and bring forward actionable insights. You want the recruiter to think, wow, this candidate is a great fit because they have the experience we're looking for. Next, as much as possible, use strong action verbs at the beginning of your accomplishments and avoid overly using the same verb all throughout your resume. The thesaurus is a great tool for discovering synonyms for verbs. Lastly, don't forget to run the editor to check spelling, grammar, and punctuation. You don't want petty mistakes to show up because it shows a lack of attention to detail. One of the marks of a great resume is consistency. It's clear that a style guide was used to construct this resume. Work experience showcases a company's name in bold, the location, description, and dates worked. The role is easily identifiable below along with the corresponding accomplishments. The accomplishments use strong verbs, describe what was done, and quantify the results. Simple, consistent formatting such as section headers, bold text, italics, and left and right alignment make it easy for the reader to track the content throughout the document. Your resume is your personal marketing material. It's your brand. So take the time to communicate your value accordingly. Doing so will set you above your peers and improve your ability to land an interview. Come to Biztrix to get more in-depth training and enroll in our courses. Biztrix teaches you what you really need to know to leapfrog your skills to the next level. Time is valuable, so I won't waste it with features that aren't useful in a business setting. And don't forget to subscribe.